Rev up your engines. All right, here I am at the Clarksville Car Show. If you like Camaros, should you go old or new? Kind of like the old, for quite a few reasons. I like the style. They got a lot more metal on them. Back in '72, they were making good engines, but mainly, I like the price. This guy's got about 10 grand in this beautiful car. Let's take a new Camaro. Got a supercharger. It's got a lot more than 10 grand into it. I like the old school. I like the old school prices too. You can always get parts of these things. You can swap. You can go around. You're not paying a high dollar for new stuff. They're a lot of fun to drive still. Not quite as fast, but still. They're fast enough for most normal humans. Looks nice in green with white stripes too. Now they got everything at the shows. Little German speed. Here's a supercharged BMW. It's his car and he supercharged it. Check it out. He supercharged it himself. You can hear it whizzing. Puts out about 650 horses. Let's take it for a spin. Yeah! Let's say they build them good in Deutschland. Now do take in consideration that the man is also an aircraft mechanic for the 101st Airborne. So he knows quite a bit about fast machines. Now airplanes use radar to see where they're going. This thing uses radar to see where the police are hiding. Truthfully, for pure speed, can't beat a supercharger. Yeah, you get a little bit worse gas mileage, but hey, you're driving something like this, you really don't care about gas mileage. Now maybe you want German technology that costs a lot less. He's turboed up his Jetta here, probably putting about 240 now. It's a small car, learned how to do it himself, so he put 6,000 bucks on his own labor of love into it, and now he has a screaming Jetta. Now originally this was fun in the twisties, but now we'll see how it launches in a straight line. It's got some zip to it. Mind you, it's only got 4 cylinders, but it's really fun to drive in the twisties. And here we go. Do they handle? Yes, they handle. They handle better than me handling the camera. And he still gets 33 miles a gallon when he's in sport mode. So, not bad. Perhaps you like old cop cars. Obviously the fender's been replaced. It's still got the spotlight. It's got 258,000 miles. He's had it for 5 months, and he paid 2,500 bucks for it. Let's take it for a ride. It still runs smooth. Now, if you're into riding around in a cop car, hey, this could be for you. That V8's still going. Listen to that. 200-something thousand miles. Old Henry Ford would be proud. And it's still got the option. It's got an actual fire suppression system on it. Hey, you don't have to worry about burning up in this car. Still goes, still handles. 2,500 bucks. You have a lot of fun. They actually took care of this one, obviously, because it still runs like a clock. This started out life as a Illinois State Trooper car, then it ended up as an on-mark narcotic agent car. Guys obviously took care of it. It's still in pretty good shape. It wasn't an everyday beat car that would generally have the crap beat out of it. And it wouldn't be worth anything. You got a good deal on this one. Well, maybe you're into modern technology. This Camaro, it's the 4-cylinder engine, but it puts out about 408 now. And he's telling me with his stock internals, he might be able to get it up to over 600 horsepower. Let's take it for a spin. Now, first thing you notice, of course, it doesn't sound like a V8. It's a 4-cylinder engine. Let's see what it does on the road. Now, it's no longer stock. You got a 3-inch exhaust coming off the turbo. So you hear noise coming out over there. It doesn't sound like a V8, but it does have an awful lot of horsepower. He takes it to the drags. If he gets it over 600, it's gonna go a lot faster than that. Now you can see the guy drives like a maniac, but he bought it new. He's got 45,000 miles on it, and the engine's still holding up. So people that are worried about that little bitty 4-cylinder running right, hey, if you take care of it, it can last an awful long time. And now that we've rolled up the windows, hey, it's a pretty quiet car. At least to us inside. It's still noisy to the people outside. And interestingly enough, he still has a factory turbo. It's running as good as it is. Not the factory exhaust, mind you. And if you're curious, He also gets it tuned for E85, and when he did, he actually got 100 more horsepower. It's a higher octane fuel. You get worse gas mileage, but you do get more power. Now he got 25 with regular gas, and he only got 21 using the E85. You have to expect that. There's just less energy in ethanol than there is in gasoline. In certain situations, it's not made for pulling weight, truck, tow and stuff. But for making this thing zoom around, it's kind of interesting. But maybe you want a little cheaper speed. Got this for $4,500. You look under the hood. Now this was Mitsubishi Speed Package. The only problem is they got rubber timing belts, and if they break, you can say goodbye to the engine. He bought it. First thing he did was put a timing belt on it. And he may think he's forever broke. Spending this kind of money, he's a lot less broke than if he would go out and buy a brand new Camaro. Really, the style still holds up on these things. It's got about 135,000 miles on it. It's got good Toyo tires on it. If you understand what you're getting and take care of it, you can have a lot of fun with a little bit of money. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Well, beware if you're going to rent a car from Hertz, because a guy got a $400 smoking fee from Hertz. Hasn't smoked in 30, 40 years. He turns his car in, and it was one of those automated things. You just leave your key. The workers, they said 2 workers confirmed that they smelled cigarettes. They didn't find butts. They didn't find any ashes in the ashtray, but they said they smelled cigarettes, right? Here's the interesting thing. Ever since this coronavirus stuff, Hertz goes bankrupt, right? They've been having more and more of these fines they've been giving people on the word of their workers. Now, the guy who did it, John Dugan, he left it at Logan Airport in Boston, and I've dealt with those guys there, and I'm not happy with them either. They ripped me off numerous times. One time they charged me $600 to rent a stinking Nissan Sentra for 5 days. I mean, it was ridiculous. You know, they just ream it to you, right? He didn't see anybody there. He just dropped it off. They said, oh, one guy said, and another guy said yes, they were smoking in the car, so they fined him $400. It was on his bill. He protested, and they said, oh, no, our guy said it. They went to the top. No, our guy said this. And then they came up with the idea that, oh, 3 people smelled it. Went from 2 to 3. They're just lying through their teeth, right? The only recourse you have is to complain, right? It's their company. They're fine. The company did say, well, we'll cut it in half from 400 to 200. They wouldn't admit they were wrong, but they said they were cut it in half in good faith. My rear end. If you gotta trust these clowns that are working there, who probably get a bonus for getting $400 fines in. Oh, you were smoking in a car when you haven't smoked in 20 or 30 years and didn't have anybody else in the car. Maybe it went through a stinky area. I've been to Boston. I've been to Fall River. You know, if there's pollution coming out, maybe that's what got in. Who knows? Making you pay a $400 fine by what the workers said they smelled in the car you're returning. You know what I say? Stay away from Hertz. If they're going to pull this kind of baloney on people, don't rent their cars. They went bankrupt, and now they're back, and they're saying, oh, now their stock is up, blah, blah, blah. Stay away from companies like that. If they got the right to give you a $400 fine because they smell something in the car, stay away from them. That's what I said. That's what old Larry said in Boston. He said, look at these other companies like Enterprise now. The heck with Hertz. They're going to give me a fine because they smell something. I smell something rotten too, and it's Hertz and their corporate greed. Well, if you're into motorcycle, BMW is revealing an electric motorcycle that's going to have a shaft drive. Now, most of the electric motors, they either have a direct gear, they run right on a hub, few of them have belts. Well, BMW has always been into drive shafts. They want to make one with drive shafts. And of course, with the drive shaft, they can change the different ratios in the back for better power at low end or high speed. So they could set them up the way you wanted them and be more efficient for the use that you're having. You want a motorcycle for touring, and you're going to be driving 70 miles an hour, 75. You don't care about 130, 40 miles an hour. You can gear it for that. Say you wanted one that's real fast, 0 to 60. You can gear it for that. You can gear it any way you want. You can change the gears too. That's not that bad of an idea. Now, the one thing that I'm hoping for is if BMW starts making electric motorcycles, that they do a better job than they have recently on their regular gasoline motorcycles. Because back in the day when I was young, BMWs were the touring motorcycle. Everybody wanted to tour around the world. But recently, the last few decades, the frames cracked, the engines burnt oil, their quality has really gone. So let's hope if they make electric motorcycles, they'll start from scratch and make better motorcycles. Ones with frames that don't crack in half. They need to up their quality if they're going to be selling expensive electric motorcycles to people. There's no arguing that because their regular motorcycle quality's been going downhill for ages. Just ask anybody who understands motorcycles. Interesting technology, an electric motorcycle with a drive shaft. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.